Hello, Trekkies and Trekkers. Welcome to this amazing Star Trek podcast on Trek Tuesday. I'm your host, Arinda, and together with Rebecca, I recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek TNG. Today we recap the episode The Best of Both Worlds Part 1. But first a note of this podcast. I would appreciate it if you like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends and family. And now for the plot of the episode. The Enterprise responds to a distress call from the Federation colony on Jurat 4 and arrives to discover the colony is gone. The Federation suspect the Borg, cybernetic humanoids that assimilate individuals into the hive mind. Starfleet Admiral Hansen arrives on board the Enterprise with Lieutenant Commander Shelby, an expert on the Borg, who assists the crew in determining the cause of the colony's disappearance. Hansen informs Captain Picard that Commander Riker has been offered the command of the ship Melbourne and suggests that Riker take the positions, having turned it down twice previously. Although there is tension between Riker and the ambitious Shelby, who wants to take over his position of first officer, they confirm that the colony was assimilated by the Borg. Hansen advised Picard that another Federation vessel encountered a strange cube-like vessel before sending up the distress call that ended abruptly. Enterprise moves to intercept and confronts the Borg cube. The Borg demands that Picard surrender himself, which he refuses. Although initially deterred by Enterprise's shield modulation, the Borg lock the vessel in a tractor beam and begin cutting into the hull. Shelby suggests randomly changing the frequency of the ship's phases to prevent the Borg from adapting to be attacked, which frees the vessel. The Enterprise escapes to a nearby nebula, where Chief Engineer Geordi LaForge and Ensign Wesley Crusher adapt a technique suggested by Shelby to modify the deflector dish to fire a massive energy discharge capable of destroying the Borg cube. The Borg flush Enterprise from the nebula, board the ship, and abduct Picard. The Borg cube moves at high warp speed towards Earth, with Enterprise in pursuit. Riker, now in command of the ship, prepares to join and await him to transport to the cube to rescue Picard. But Counselor Troy reminds him his place is now on the bridge. Shelby leads the away team onto the Borg cube, where they are ignored by the Borg drones. The team locate Picard's uniform and communicator and then destroy power nodes inside the cube, forcing it out of warp. As the team prepares to transport to the Enterprise, they see an assimilated Picard. The Borg contact Enterprise with Picard stating that he is Locutus of Borg and to prepare for assimilation. Riker orders Worf to fire the deflector dish. So we are going to rewatch this episode. I hope you do too, and then we will be back to recap it. Stay tuned. Don't go away. So welcome back, everyone. Rebecca couldn't be here today, so you have to do it with me for this recap. I must say that this is one of my favorite two-parters of TNG. And, yeah. Let's start. So, they got a distress call from the Federation colony Jurat 4. And Riker taking a wait him down to see what happened. But there's something that just come into mind, and that is it's the weird thing that I just got the feeling of it, is that Worf is doing ops. And I don't... Yeah, you would expect from a Klingon he would be more in security or whatever, but not ops. When they beam down, they are directly in the city, but there's nothing there. So Riker asked O'Brien if the coordinates are right. And what we see is that the city is totally destroyed. By the way, this is one of the shortest intro video before the intro theme. I never have seen it this short. Normally it's a lot longer. Then Admiral Hansen and Commander Shelby are coming to the Enterprise to investigate why and what happened to the colony of 900 people. But I must say, I never have liked Shelby. She was too ambitious and too eager to be, and especially when she wanted to have Riker's job. I was really, really, I don't want to say upset, but it was, for him, it was upsetting, because no one knew that he got offered as a captain. And now I rewatched this episode again. I think he was right by saying, I am not ready to become a captain because there's so much to learn for me, and I'm happy where I am. I'm happy with the crew. I'm happy with Picard as my captain. So why would I have my own ship? And I think there were a few reasons, and later on we've seen a scene between him and Counselor Troy, and she asked him directly, what do you want? And we also could see that he was very irritated by people pushing him to get this promotion. And at that point, I think after this short time, I don't think he was ready for it. Yes, he was more matured than we see him in season 1. But I think he is not ready to have his own command in that way. Of course he has. He would be a good captain already at this point. But it's not that I'm saying he's not the caliber of Captain Picard. So they have a little meeting in the Captain Picard's wedding room. And so Hansen practically said, gave Shelby so much space that she comes with a solution. And you could see Riker and Picard didn't like it in the way of, this is still my ship. And when Shelby wanted to take a look on the ground in the city, Riker told her, well, we will go with dawn because it's gonna get dark soon and it is not safe. he is bringing her to a quarters on the ship, and she, like I said, she became very cocky and said, I want your job, cause Enterprise is the flagship and I want to be in the best of the best. And Riker doesn't even know that he is up for captain, so what the hell? Riker also invited Hansen to play poker that night because there is poker night, but he declined. And I have no idea why. Maybe Hansen is known for his poker nights or whatever. So I don't know if you know what's all about this. Hansen and Picard have a conversation after that, and Hansen is praising Shelby for her work ethic, etc. And then Picard came back with a teapot and glasses with Earl Grey. And to be honest, I didn't find that teapot very futuristic. It's like an old teapot that we know, and it's very nowadays. I must say, Shelby was really that's one thing I didn't like about her. She is so ambitious and so she doesn't have the respect, and I have no idea how she know Riker would go eventually or whatever. And everyone is thinking he will take the captain's chair of the Melbourne, which isn't so at the moment, and I have no idea if he already knew that again the Melbourne could be his. Shelby joins the poker night, and first thing which I notice is that the room is very small, and I'm wondering why did they do that. And it's of course a commander's quarter, so what the heck, first commander's quarter exactly. And the other question I had is, why is Wesley Crusher playing poker with Sirius? You would say he would play poker with his peers. And in one way I can understand that, because I can a little bit relating to that, because myself, I can't or couldn't be in one room with my peers. I couldn't. They didn't understand me. I didn't understand them. And I have more with all the people who, it's just different for me. And so I can understand it in one way, but why? It's a bit weird. Maybe they did that because he was part of this whole episode again. I don't know how or what. So, and maybe of course it is the friendship he has with Riker. Who knows? Tell me what you think in the comment section. So what we see is that they teach Wesley to poker. But once again, and Amanda and I have said that before, Riker is some kind of, I don't want to say father figure, but a mentor for Wesley. But the friendship he has with Data, and once again, Data is reacting humanly. Like, he was something saying in the line of, Wesley, don't, it's okay. Uh, he can't have a flush, a royal flush, but he can also bluffing. And Riker knowing none of the times he will bluff. So the young ensign is a bit off on the spot in this scene. And in one way it's very adorable because, well, he's so super young, and I think he must not be older than 16 or 17 in this scene. So, yeah, it's just, but it is nice to see that the senior officers are not taking him for granted, but see him as a bit of an equal. The next morning, when Riker and Toady are meeting up in the transport room, Riker was expecting Shelby and Data to meet up with them there, but O'Brien tells them that they beamed down like an hour ago, and oh boy, Riker isn't amused. I wouldn't be either, with the attitude she's giving, but okay. Riker asked her to walk with him for a minute, and as usual, Data didn't catch the metaphor what she was talking about with early birds are catching worms. And Geordi needed to explain to Data that she made a big error. And Riker is going to teach her now a lesson in a way of, not being he's still leading the away team. He's still leading. She can be an expert of Borg, but he is still the leading officer, So, yeah, she made a big mistake. With the investigation that Shelby and Data did, with those findings, Shelby knew that it is truly the Borg that has destroyed the city. So they are in trouble. Picard and Riker are talking about the whole situation, about the Borg. And Picard is asking Riker what he thinks of Shelby. Of course, he has his answer. And Picard is telling him, well, that sounds like a young lieutenant that I recruited. And I don't know. Of course, later on we see that Riker is a bit restless because he had the feeling that he's missing something. And maybe he is too comfortable on the Enterprise. And I think it's a two fight that he is going through, because in one way he wants to have his own command, but on the other hand he's saying, I'm not ready. And there are a lot of people that are pushing him to take the command chair. And I think even Counselor Troy is saying later, this is your decision and only you can make it. And you are the one who only can decide if you're ready or not. Shelby, Data, Toady, and Wesley are having a little meeting in engineering to find solutions for protection against the Borg technology, and they have good suggestion, but it's not good enough. And Riker had to come in at a point to tell them that they need sleep and that they could work after sleep at that solution. And Shelby was, no, we can't, and we have this and we have that, and well, they can sleep, but I'm fit enough, and Data doesn't need sleep, so he can work with me, and I'm gonna go through, and I'm gonna plow through, blah 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 blah. And then Riker said, well, we don't have anything to anybody if they are too tired and also have to fight the Borg. And he's right in that. And I think that makes Shelby, Riker different of Shelby. Riker has more experience. And I think that is one thing Shelby still have to learn, you know? So now we know that it is the Borg. Professor Admiral Hansen notifies Starfleet about it, and they are on the way with operations to get more defenses online, etc. And there are other colonies that need help, and because the Enterprise is close to one of them, they will go there. And well, we see that for the first time they see the Borg as an enemy, and this is also the first time, and that's the I think that is just also typical humans. And we see that also nowadays with aliens that come to Earth, etc. They knew already for more than a year that the Borg were coming to Earth, or in that aspect, time frame. And they only start defending themselves when it is too late. The next scene is that we see Picard walking back and forth on the bridge, and we've never seen him like this, because he always keep his composure. And then they make contact with a Borg cube, and it was right away, we want Picard. Still the question is, why do they want Picard and not the ship, in a way? Picard is trying to use his authority voice to overrule the Borg, but the Borg is scanning the Enterprise.
Here are some results
for what they can use, but that's what Riker asked. Why would they want Picard? And Shelby told him, well, it is weird because normally they want technology and not a person. Then the Borg is holding them with a tractor beam, and Picard orders to shoot all torpedoes and in randomly following to find the access point of the tractor beam. I don't know what you guys think about this, but they're very calm. But they know what the Borg can do, so why isn't there more panic or chaos? Well, I was wondering why there is no chaos. Well, there is chaos now. The Borg is cutting in the hole, and that makes engineering a very dangerous place. So it's not going to be perfect in the way of evacuation and defending themselves. Shelby ordered data to fire in randomly frequencies, and that appears that the tractor beam is broken, and then they flee into a nebula with the warp 9.3, I believe. But it is something that I'm thinking now. What was the point? That the Borg, of course, a simulation, but why now Earth? Because they were in a totally different quadrant than the Alpha quadrant. They discovered that they need to do something with the deflector dish, and in order to do that, they have to go on to the Borg cube. What must be a bit scary. And once again, Shelby is going behind Riker's back, because after that meeting, she said, well, the captain has to do this and have to get that, and he has to decide for himself, not you, and blah 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 blah. And once again, they butt heads a lot. And in this case, Riker is the more experienced officer. So I see that also. But she went behind his back to the captain. What was another mistake of her. So once again, Shelby is going behind Riker's back to the captain, as he informs him that Riker has his suspicions on her plan. And thankfully, Picard is saying, yeah, I'm agreeing with Riker, because this is not the time to take risk and be ambitious. But he told Riker to get Shelby's plan as a backup plan, because there will be a time that they will have to take risks. After that conversation with Picard, they are going to, I believe, the engineering. But in the turbo lift, Riker has a stern word with Shelby. And at that moment I was thinking, thank God, don't let her walk over you. You're the first officer of the Enterprise. And once again, I really have that feeling that I don't like her at all. What makes the weird thing in Star Trek Picard, I think she is or a vice admiral or an admiral in Picard. But it was nice to see her back. But I didn't like the young Shelby at all. In that conversation also, Shelby asked to speak freely. And she said, well, you are in my way. You are playing it too safe, and you have been in the shadow of a big man. So you need to get along, get your own ship, and I want your job. Which is very rude. So, you see, they headbutt each other a lot in this episode. And, you know, it's the whole situation, but also her cockiness. I don't like it. She wears too big shoes. She's not ready for it. The Enterprise is still in the nebula, and Picard is a bit surprised that the Borg is still waiting for them to come out. And to be honest, that is also not like Borgish behavior. But if it is that they want, of course they will wait. Picard is going to an empty 10 forward. And there he talks with Guinan. And there are two things I want to say about Guinan in this scene. It is that, well, three. She knows fully well what the Borg can do. Because the Borg attacked her planet as well. And her species is all scattered around in the galaxy. The second thing I want to remark is that she, for once, is wearing green. Normally, she always wears blue or purple. So, it is nice to see her in a different color. But normally, she will wear purple or blue. And the third thing I want to remark is she looks really, really long. And there is a nice story about how Whoopi got her name. Because Whoopi is not her real name. So the story goes that when she was young and in the theater, from time to time she was a bit gassy. And because you couldn't go to the bathroom and close the door and let it out, she had to do that in between takes and in the gallery, etc. And someone said, well, you sound like a whoopee cushion. And that's how she got the stage name Whoopi. And she adopted that as, not in her real name, but in her stage name. Picard tells Whoopi that a captain, as in a tradition, will make his round one more time to his ship when he has to face a big battle. And it's like a tradition from ancient Navy time. When Guinan talked about how her people survived, she encouraged Picard by telling him, humanity will also survive if you just keep up hoping. And then something hit the Enterprise. And Picard has been called to the bridge. I told you just now that Guinan was wearing green. It's more like olive green. And I don't know why she's wearing olive green. But what comes into mind is that this color is some kind of a color of peace. You know, like the white dove with the olive branch. And I don't know, it's just weird that we see her now in olive green. So the thing that impacted the Enterprise is a magnetic loaded thing, and that's, they can't stay in the nebula and they have to go, and of course the Borg will pursue them as planned, and to still get Picard, of course. The next scene is that we're going to engineering, because they need impulse engine as soon as possible, and probably warp. But did you notice that Shelby was there, Data, LaForge, but none of them were active to keep the ship alive, and the only one who was really, really active was Wesley, the Wonder Child. The Borg is trying to put the attractor beam on them, and which is with the shields are collapsing, with the results that the Borg can beam onto the Enterprise now. And that's exactly what they do. This first, 4 or 5 hits of a phaser, they will die. But then they adapt and they kidnap Picard. And then the whole shenanigans of the Borg is started. Riker wants to take on a Borg, and of course the Borg is too strong. Even for Worf, the Borg is too strong. And then when Picard wants to attack the Borg, another Borg drone beamed next to him and kidnapped him. It appears that the Borg ship is faster than them, because I believe, let me check that first, how fast the Enterprise is. Okay, the maximum warp of speed of the Enterprise is a warp 10, and they already are at 9.6, so it's getting dangerous. The only thing is, if Enterprise D already has a warp speed of warp 10, why didn't the Voyager have warp 10? Because Voyager is a younger ship, if I'm correct. So when Picard's on that Borg cube, the Borg is telling him, funny and wise enough, well, you are the captain of the most strongest ship of the Federation fleet, so you will speak for your people. And we do that because you are here, we are interested in you, because you will be like a spokesman for your people. So Picard is telling them, well, my society is all based on freedom and own willingness, and the Borg is telling him, well, that's all irrelevant. And because the Borg is going to Earth now, they tell Picard that you'll be one of us, but you will represent us to the human species, because it will be easier for them to acknowledge you, because you are human yourself and you are this leader, great leader of humankind. So Riker is asking if the weapon from the deflector's shield is ready, and Geordi tells him not yet, but I know I need to have to do it with under in 2 hours. And then Shelby comes with a solution. Well, we can beam over to the Borg ship, and we can disable their deflector shields, and that means like a few of them, so we can slow them down. And Riker wants to take an away team over there. But then Shelby protested and Riker wanted to step on her toes again. And then Counselor Troy said, Will, you are the captain now, so you can't go on to the Borg now. Let Shelby go. And you see, for the first time, is that he is accepting that. When they are on the Borg cube, the ship is practically asleep. So they're wandering around to find Picard. So they find this console that will help the Borg drones work together when they have to do a chore. And Beverly got an idea, and she used a metaphor of the mosquito. So they're gonna work to get that damage. So the Borg ship is slowing down. They got a signal of Picard's combat, and they're trying to find him. But what they find is the uniform and his combat, which make the whole scene eerie and a bit creepy, because at that point humankind doesn't know yet what the Borg can do. Now they are ready to use that deflector weapon, but because of the radiation poison, they need to evacuate half of the saucer. So Riker is urging Shelby to do as quick as possible what they can to slow the Borg ship down, and so they will be safe. They are destroying some of those nodes, so they slow down the ship. But of course the Borg drones, are waking up by that, and they are attacking the away team. And not soon after that, they have to beam back to the Enterprise. So there are some resistance now from the Borg. But there's one thing I noticed in this scene, is how long Beverly Crusher's hair is. And I don't know why, but maybe because I do like Dr. Crusher. I myself have something with the alternative healing. So, and because Dr. Crusher is half doctor in the way of half Western healing medicine and half traditional medicine because of her mom, and I also believe her grandmother. Yeah, that's why I like her. Just before they beam back to the Enterprise, they see Picard as Locutus. And of course it's a very big shock, and Worf wants to take him with them. But Locutus has a force field around him, so nobody can touch him. Then the Borg is healing them, and by their horror, they see Picard as a Borg drone, and he tells them, well, we're going to assimilate you. And that is also the moment that Riker fires the deflector weapon. And that, my friends, was the end of the episode. And it will be continued in the next one. So, in about 2 weeks, Rebecca and I will be back with recapping The Best of Both Worlds Part 2. I love this. This is one of the 2-part episodes that I really like. And if I take a look at IMDb, the rating on IMDb is a 9.3, and I'm totally fine with it because it is a very good episode. We're getting more information and background of the Borg and in how much it's going to be, what they do and how dangerous they are. This is also a bit of a prequel, what we see in the first episode, Deep Planet Nine, where Cisco is blaming Picard for murdering his wife Jennifer at Wolf 359. So, but it would be hard for Picard because he has to live with it because he's come back as human. And of course he knows, I think he knows by conscience that what he did, it's still not technically him. It was Locutus. But okay. So guys, tell me what you think in the comment section. And I hope to see you next in about 2 weeks. Thank you guys for listening, and join us in 2 weeks for a new episode recap. In the next episode, we will recap the episode The Best of Both Worlds Part 2, and that's also the start of Season 4 of The Next Generations. Goal starting track is to listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, on the Facebook group, and the YouTube channel. I would like to invite you to the YouTube channel and the Facebook group so we can discuss each episode. And what do you guys think about doing a live discussion of episode once in a while? Let me know in the comment section on YouTube or the Facebook group. We will see you in 2 weeks. Live long and prosper.